Greetings everybody and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock. So the weather's changed and it's getting cooler out there every day. So we're back on Tuesday night here for What's New. This is a show that I alternate with metal. So metal comes every bi-weekly and then What's New comes every bi-weekly. So this week it's What's New, and I've chosen a band that I've known about since I started this channel, but for some reason I've never gone and listened to any of their stuff and only just been listening to what people tell me about them and stuff like that. However, I decided, since they just released a new album less than a month or so ago, I believe it was. Let me look at my notes here. Yeah, it's a little longer than that. It's a couple months now. But I thought this is a perfect opportunity for me to experience this band. And the band that we're talking about today is going to be Greta Van Fleet. The album is their Starcatcher album, which is their third studio album, just released on July 31st of this year. On the RCA studio. It was recorded at RCA Studio in Nashville and Low Country in Savannah, Georgia. So about 42 minutes or almost 43 minutes in length. It's a fairly lengthy album, but falls well within the parameters that I like. I like my albums somewhere between 35 and 44, 45 minutes long. It's on the Lava Republic label and is produced by Dave Cobb. So featured in this, or the members of Greta Van Fleet, if you prefer, is the brothers Joshua and Jacob Kazinka. I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, but it looks like Kazinka. And their other brother Samuel Kazinka. Joshua and Jacob, of course, are twins. Joshua is the vocalist, and he also does the backing vocals. And Jacob is the guitar player who also does backing vocals. Samuel Kazinka plays bass and keyboards and does vocals as well. And then you have Daniel Wagner, who is the drummer and also does vocals. So all four of them do backing vocals in this group. So they had basically, I think it's 10 songs on this album. And I found this album to be quite good. Of course, you know, the story about them is that they sound quite a bit like Led Zeppelin, and I have no argument with that, having listened to the album. But they have some other elements to their music too. They're not just a complete carbon copy of Led Zeppelin. But even if they were, their music is good, you know. I know there's a lot of people out there that complain, oh, that guy's a carbon, or that's a rip-off band, or this or that. You got to get over that, really, because bands like Zeppelin and Floyd and Genesis and them, they're not coming back. They're done. You know, that's it. So once all these bands are done, so what, you're never going to listen to anything new again because they're not out there making it? And even in the case of some of these bands that are still making it, like Jethro Tull and Uriah Heep and Yes, are all still making albums. People don't want to listen to the new albums. Oh, it's not the same. It's not the same. Get out of the past. As they say, my dad used to say, take your head out of your behind and smell the roses. Yes, no, maybe the music isn't quite as good as it was back then, but we grew up listening to that music. It had a huge emotional impact on us, so very few things are going to be able to touch that. But it's still good stuff, and these guys are one of the examples of what good comes out of people doing music nowadays. So just gonna move my notes up here so I can read them. Hopefully it won't set the computer off. That's not always the case though. So this album has I think there's 10 tracks. Yeah, 10 tracks. Standard 10 tracks. Most of the songs fall between 3 and 5 minutes. A few over that, 1 or 2 under, I think, too. But good stuff. Really good stuff. I'm gonna need my glasses too, just so I can keep track of my notes, because I want to discuss this album at length and the songs on it. So the opening track, Fate of the Faithful, it's about 5 minutes, pretty close to 5 minutes in length. Very melancholy keyboard opening on this song. I like it. It's very it's somber. It gives you a mood right away. The vocals are in a very high range. Yeah, definitely in the Robert Plant range. I don't think he sounds like Plant too much on this particular track. The guitars are not as forward as I'd like them to be. He seems to be a little bit more reserved with his guitar playing. It's not as frontal as you might get with some bands. And he may be trying to create an image here, create a soundscape here, and that may be the reason why this is the case. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about the band yet, but I listened to the entire album, so I'm thinking. Initially, I wasn't sure why he was doing it, but I'm thinking that might be the reason. His solo was good on this track, pretty solid solo. Some nice, almost psychedelic parts to it, and of course, it's very Zeppelin-ish, bluesy sound. The drums are pretty heavy, and the guitar riffing is quite Zeppelin style. But the track is good. I liked it. Wait All Your Life, which is the next track. It's a little bit shorter, about 4.5 minutes or so. It starts out with a kind of an acoustic play, slow melodic sound to it. His vocals are in a high range. This is more Plant sounding. I hear more of a Robert Plant style here and sound to his voice. Really catchy rhythm and sound to this song as well. So most of these songs have a kind of what they call, I wrote it down somewhere, a visualizer. It's just a picture that's got a little bit of movement in it to create a kind of a visual for the song. So most of them come with that. There's a couple that come with a video, like the next song out, which is Falling Sky. It's a video. It's a live concert of them singing. Pretty catchy, heavy beat to this song. Vocals again in that high range, very Zeppelin-like rhythm guitar with guitars in that Zeppelin range. It has that sound, and the solo was very Zeppelin-like. So, yeah, great, another great tune. So the first 3 tracks, I like them all. The entire, what I would have called the first side in the old days, or the 5 songs here, are very, very good, very nice. Run for them here. The next song up is called Sacred the Thread. It starts out with a kind of a lovely, kind of a levee. It's a Levee Breaks feel to this song. A lot of their songs are in that range that the song The Levee Breaks is in. That kind of melodic, kind of heavy, pulsating, kind of heavy drum part that you get with that song. Definitely that is the feel I get here. This particular track actually sounds more like that song than any of the other ones. The vocals on this one are a little bit more subdued as well, but it's really catchy rhythm and a really catchy vocal part to this song as well. I like this. This might be my favorite song on the album. Might be. Runaway Blues is a really short track. There's a bit of a vocal part here. It's not as strong, but it is engaging. Heavy guitar riffing. It's a short bluesy track basically, and lots of drum fills and guitar solo towards the end of the song. So not a bad song, but probably the weakest of the first 5, I would say. Now the back half of this album I thought was even stronger. The first song on the back half is a 4-minute song called Indigo Streak. Vocals are a bit growly on this in spots, I found. It's almost like he's trying to create a different sound to his voice in this. And there's some backing vocal. There's a bit of a backing and vocal addition here. It's more noticeable on this track than some of the other tracks, where you get more people singing here, creating an effect. It's a heavy but catchy riff as well with the guitars, and this one also comes with a visualizer. They all do. There's only 2 that come with a video, and I've said one already. I'll get to the other when we get to it. The next track up is called Frozen Light. It's about 4.5 minutes in length. Starts out with that kind of melodic guitar riff that you have become accustomed. By this time, you should be accustomed to that being that melodic kind of guitar riffing going on in this band is very common. So by this time, if you've been listening to the album, you should have experienced that. This is a very Page-like riff too. The vocals are a little bit muddled here, but are overall very Zeppelin-like, very catchy. I like the riff a lot. The heavy, classic, distorted Zeppelin sound on this album, on this particular track, yeah, definitely falls well within that range. The next track is the other track on the album that may be my favorite. It's called The Archer. This one comes with a video as well. So there's a fairly, I wouldn't say it's lengthy, but a very strong guitar solo on this song, maybe the strongest and most noticeable on the album. And I thought it was good. You know, I was wondering up to this point is that maybe he sticks to the riffing, he gets the Zeppelin riffing well, but maybe doesn't get the soloing part too well. But he proves me wrong on this track. The vocals are almost, I think, are probably the best on this album. I think they're really, really catchy, really good. This guy has a very good high range, mid to high range vocal range. Really, really good sounding voice for this kind of music too. The acoustic guitar bit gives this song a really good flavor. It's not just that heavy guitar riffing, but there's some acoustic parts here as well. And some nice guitar. That's a combination of guitar and drum. So there's a nice guitar and drum riffing section on this part too, which I think is really good. It's a new word in the dictionary. Okay. So the next track, Meeting the Master. It's another kind of visualizer with it. Nice guitar, acoustic guitar. Very catchy opening. This song is maybe the most Zeppelin-ish, even a little even more than the Levy Break song. Classic sound, really sound. The girl is lovely, of course, too, in the video, that is. It's got a bit of the keyboards have got a bit of a psychedelic feel to it. It kind of reminds me of, and it's on the tip of my brain. It's a Zeppelin song that has this kind of really psychedelic sound to it, and it's just not coalescing in there. But I can hear the song in my head too. But it's really got that sound really good. You get some of that so it ends with this kind of forlorn, kind of stretched out guitar solo, not super long, but very melodic, almost in that kind of David Gilmour kind of slow melodic kind of soloing style. It doesn't sound like Pink Floyd at all, though. Farewell to For Now is the last track, which is kind of appropriate since it's the last track. I did like this song quite a bit too. More subdued, more melodic tracks on this particular album. A more melodic track on this album. That's what I'm trying to say. The vocals are more subdued on this track as well. There's kind of a catchy psychedelic bluesy feel. To this track, and the guitar solo. It's a bit far back of the. I'm thinking of the other solos on the album. This one is a little further back. It feels like he's toned it down a bit and is playing in the background a bit. But it's really good. I find this band very catchy. Yes, they have a large Zeppelin sound to them, very Zeppelin-ish in a lot of ways. But they have their own unique style to it too. They're not playing any of those fast-paced like Communication Breakdown or the Immigrant Song. There's nothing like that on this album. This is a more melodic stuff falling into that Levy Breaks feel, that boom, 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 that Bonham kind of heavy Bonham style that you get with some of the Led Zeppelin stuff. Yeah, they fall within that range. They tend to be more melodic, more heavy. Vocals are great. This guy's vocals are really good. This is, if you like Led Zeppelin, if you're a huge Led Zeppelin fan, I got news for you. They're not coming back. So if you want to continue to listen to Zeppelin style music, you want something Zeppelin-ish that maybe makes you feel like Zeppelin's moved on a bit, this is a band. This is a great band for that. They also have some of their own unique feel to that, and they're more modern aspects of it, but they definitely have that feel. I felt like it was a Zeppelin. In some points, I felt like it could have been a Zeppelin album at some points, but not entirely. Like, there's other stuff here too. But either way, it's a great album. Definitely deserves being listened to. So my recommendations for anybody who hasn't listened to Greta Van Fleet is, first, to listen to them, and second, to listen to them a second time, because the second time through, sometimes you'll hear stuff that'll get you into it, and that, to me, is what new music is about. And the day I stop listening to new music, they will be putting dirt on my face. I'm not dead just because the 70s are dead. I'm still alive. So because I'm alive, and a lot of the bands that I listened to in the 70s are no longer either in that state or in a state of making anything new, I want to continue along, and a band like this allows me to do that. So please give Greta Van Fleet a opportunity to impress you. I think you will be. I was. So have yourself a good day. Please like and subscribe, and we'll be back next week with metal. Take care and have a good day. Bye.